Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Arizona.
The road trip continues. A travel day yesterday brought us from Los Angeles here to Pittsburgh for a rematch with the Pirates. Zach Godley gets the start in the opener tonight against Pittsburgh's Chad Kuhl. Join us for D-backs baseball from Pittsburgh, PA on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from PNC Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Renly along the way. The D-backs took 2 of 3 from these Pirates at Chase Field earlier this month. Tonight, we're back here for the first of 4 in Pittsburgh. The D-backs offense has been rolling this month, red hot in June, Bob, in no small part due, I think, to something of a different look up top in the lineup.
Yeah, David Peralta did a fine job in the leadoff spot for quite a while, but he projects much better as a middle of the lineup run producer. John Jay has hit leadoff a lot in his career. He's succeeded in that role, and he loves to be the first hitter in the game for the Diamondbacks. Torrey was looking for somebody at the top of the order to get on base a little more often, create opportunities for those guys in the middle, and John Jay has answered the call.
The numbers are sensational. 15 hits. He's scored 10 times in the last 8 games, and against right-handers, Torrey Lovullo likes to plug Goldie into the 2-hole right behind him.
Not a bad idea. If John Jay's going to be getting on base as much as he has, that opens up the right side of the infield for Goldie. We know he likes to hit the ball the other way. 2 on-base percentage guys at the top of the order. Love it.
19 RBIs in his last 15 games. We are set to go the first of 4 against the Pirates on Fox Sports Arizona.
D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world, and by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Brought to you by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free jumbo jacks only at Jack in the Box. By One AZ Credit Union, let's bank together. And by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. Overcast and muggy here in Pittsburgh. We had monsoon rains when we arrived from LA last night. Pirates game here against the Brewers got washed out. Zach Godley gets the start in the opener of this 4-game set. D-backs coming into tonight 7 over 500 and holding a 2-game edge on the Dodgers for the National League West League. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Renly, Todd Walsh with you. 77 degrees and cloudy. I know you've been checking in with some of the weather people.
Yeah, since the governor's not on this trip, somebody's got to check the weather. Greg Schulte is the one that always has the spot-on forecast for us, but we should be okay tonight. Next 3 days, not so sure.
Well, D-backs have won 8 of their last 12, and here's the lineup tonight for Torrey Lovullo. It's presented by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Just like we said in the open, John Jay leading it off out in right field. Paul Goldschmidt will be at first base. David Peralta out in left field. Daniel Descalso gets the start at third base. Cattell Marte at second. Alex Avila will be doing the catching. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Gerard Dyson in center field, and right-hander Zach Godley on the mound.
Well, the Pirates come into this series a game under 500 for the year. They are 4th place in the National League Central and 7 games off the division lead, trailing both the Cubs and the Brewers in the NL Central.
Got to make sure you have all the right dance routines, the right handshakes. Can't win if you don't do that.
Well, we have time here, Bob, for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, Lanny Fratteri and Jim Brooker and all the Pirates broadcasters over the years, when a Pirate hits a home run, they call it a cannonball. No cannonballs tonight.
No cannonballs coming. Now the Pirates take the field, and we are just about good to go for game one of this 4-game series. There's a look at the beautiful skyline here at PNC Park, one of the most picturesque ballparks, he said, hopefully.
Don't up your P's.
Your Ram truck starter for the Pirates is Chad Kuhl, 25-year-old right-hander. 5-4 in 14 starts, coming off a win over the Reds here last Friday.
Heavy sinker, hard slider. He does throw an occasional 4-seam fastball. Also has a curve and a changeup, but he's basically what hitters would classify as a sinker slider guy.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers has a look around the diamond at the Pirates defense here tonight.
Austin Meadows will be out in left field. Starling Marte in center. Gregory Polanco over in right field. It'll be Colin Moran at third base. Jordy Mercer and Josh Harrison make up the double play combo up the middle, with Josh Bell at first base. Francisco Cervelli behind the plate, and right-hander Chad Kuhl on the mound.
Stu Sherwater is our plate umpire tonight, calling the balls and strikes. Eric Cooper is at first base. The crew chief Gary Cederstrom is at second, and Corey Blazer's our third base umpire here tonight. The Pirates this year, for all their Thursday home games, are wearing brand new alternate jerseys and caps, part of their military appreciation program. So that's the reason the Pirates are partially in green here tonight instead of their usual black and gold.
Yeah, sometimes the camo works well with the uniform. Sometimes it clashes a little bit, but certainly we appreciate why they're doing it.
John Jay set to lead it off. First of 4, the D-backs and the Pirates.
Every time we come here, I feel like we're playing a video game.
Why is that?
It's just, you know, it looks like you're looking on the screen of a, you know, one of those video games, and you control the players from up here. We should be able to control them.
It is the second highest booth in the National League, behind Washington, D.C. We're up here quite a ways. John Jay, 310, 2 homers. But it is just a beautiful ballpark. They've done a wonderful job with this facility.
Boy, they really have. I mean, you could have turned this ballpark a lot of different ways, but they included the Pittsburgh skyline and the river and the bridges. Absolutely gorgeous.
Chad Kuhl throws hard. Fastball away, miss, 1-0.
Yeah, not a lot of velocity difference between his 4-seam fastball and his 2-seam sinker. Both of them in the mid to upper 90s.
Kuhl was supposed to start here against the Brewers last night, just as our flight from LA was arriving. We touched down in a monsoon rainstorm, and the game got washed out. So he goes tonight. Everyone else in Pittsburgh's rotation gets pushed back one day, and the Pirates will make up last night's game as part of a doubleheader next month. This is driven out to left field. Austin Meadows backing up, and he won't get there. It one hops the wall. Guess what? John Jay is on base again. That's his 11th double this year.
Boy, he has got that opposite field approach working perfectly lately. Taking pitches up and out over the plate, just guiding him to left field. This time he blasts it to left field over the head of Austin Meadows out there. I mean, that ball might be off the outside corner, and he still gets barrel on it.
Short fences out there in left and left center. Well, we just talked about this a moment ago. This 1-2 combo against right-hand starters. Jay leads off. Goldie bats second. 266, 16 home runs. And right away an RBI opportunity here for the D-backs. There's that good slider. That has become a very good pitch for Chad Kuhl. A very effective weapon for him. Throwing it a lot more often. The fastball not quite as much. 1-0 on Goldie. There's the fastball in at 96. Goldie homered in both games against the Angels. He has hit 8 home runs in his last 12 games. Pirates have 3 defenders on the left side of the infield. He hit some shots in Anaheim.
Boy, did he ever. Straightaway center field here. Over the head of Mike Trout into the rocks out there. Yeah, the one I really liked was this one. Whew.
Opposite field.
That might end up in the river if he hits one like that here tonight. That was a blast to right field.
That one misses low. Goldie's ahead 3 balls and a strike with David Peralta on deck. Full count, 3-2. This is low with a fastball at 98, and the first 2 have reached for the D-backs.
He must have watched our open today.
How about that?
Talking about guys at the top of the order getting on base, setting it up. I mentioned David Peralta, who did a fine job in that leadoff spot, but the way he's been hitting the ball, you would much prefer to have him in the middle of the lineup somewhere, driving that ball and driving these guys in.
A chance for David, 277. He's already matched his total from last season with those 14 home runs. First and second, nobody out. Low fastball at 98. That was below the knees, but Stu Sherwater says strike 1. David doubled, knocked in 2 runs Tuesday against the Angels in LA. This is on the ground to first, backhanded by Bell. They get the force on Goldie, and that's it. Jay is in at third.
Josh Bell might have got a little lucky right there. The throw probably should have been to the outfield side of the bag at second to avoid Goldie going first to second, but Josh Bell kind of threw across Goldie as he was running into second base and managed to somehow get it over or around him to get the force play at second.
Daniel Descalso batting .272. He's got 8 home runs in the cleanup spot tonight. Descalso drives one deep to right field. Polanco has it on the track. Here comes Jay, and the D-backs have the early lead.
Playing that downhill baseball, take an early lead, play good defense behind your starting pitcher, and try to make it stand up.
Descalso coming off an 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts in that game against the Angels Tuesday. Right back in the RBI column here tonight, Ketel Marte now. 243. He's got 5 homers.
That was one of the more surprising things we've seen all year with the Diamondbacks. Daniel Descalso striking out 4 times in one game.
Really odd.
That's just shocking.
He was the DH both Monday and Tuesday in LA. And they're at third tonight. Torrey thought, you know, the Angels did a good job with that bullpen game Tuesday, kind of keeping the D-backs off balance. By the time they figured Pena out, it was just a parade of relievers after that. Foul ground, third base side. Colin Moran runs out of room.
And we saw a lot of good sliders out of that Angels bullpen. A lot of downer sliders. A cool slider tonight is a little flatter, a little rounder. It's a very good pitch, but it's not the same slider the Diamondbacks saw from some of those Angel relievers.
A guy that throws this hard, 96, 98, now starting to mix in a lot more breaking pitches, the curveball and the slider. Fastball down and in. His slider, they say, Cool, is likely the best on the Pirates staff. In fact, some of the other pitchers like Joe Musgrove have now copied Cool's slider grip. He's getting a lot of swings and misses with that pitch. Marte bangs one out to deep right field. That ball is going, and it is gone. Ketel Marte. The D-backs have a 3-0 lead here in Pittsburgh. Takes a 1-2 pitch out of here to right field. That's his 6th of the year.
Yeah, it's funny, you look at Paul Goldschmidt, he doesn't look like a 2-hitter. You look at Ketel Marte, he doesn't look like a 5-hitter. You'd think they should be flipped in the lineup, but each guy doing what they're expected to do. Goldie gets on base, scores a run. Ketel Marte in that 5 spot drives home 2.
That's a Jumbo Jack. Free Jumbo Jack tomorrow. A Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. Pirates put the shift on for the catcher Alex Avila. 3-0 D-backs. Fastball at 96 is in there. 0-1. The home run ball has been a problem for Chad Kuhl this year. That's his 13th given up. This is his 15th start. Avila skies one into the seats and out of play. The dimensions in this ballpark, very unique. We saw John Jay's ball hop over that relatively short outfield fence in left. You've got that deep notch there in left center field that goes what, 410 or so by the bullpens in that corner there. And then on the far right hand side, you've got that 21-foot high wall. He didn't go, says Corey Blazer.
Historically, the ball seems to carry extremely well to straightaway center and right center field. Not sure if the winds blowing in will have anything to do with that tonight, but I've seen a lot of long home runs out into the bushes in the batter's eye.
399 to straightaway center. Avila strikes out. D-back strike first. Ketel Marte's 6th of the year. They lead at 3-0. Is the right-hander Zach Godley. A 7-5 record, a 4.77 ERA. Zach has wins in his last 2 starts, beating the Rockies and the Mets.
Nice job in Colorado. Somehow got that curveball to break at elevation there. And last time out against the Mets, he was really good. 6 2/3, gave up only 2 runs on 5 hits.
Valley Chevy Dealers has the Pirates lineup tonight.
Josh Harrison leading it off at second base. Austin Meadows will be out in left field. Starling Marte in center. Colin Moran at third base. Francisco Cervelli will be behind the plate with Josh Bell at first. Gregory Polanco out in right field. Jordy Mercer at short, and right-hander Chad Kuhl on the mound.
D-backs have the shift on for Harrison, the second baseman who leads it off. 3 infielders on the left-hand side. Fastball misses up. Harrison 286, 4 homers. Got it in there, didn't get the call, and it's 2-0.
And obviously one thing to keep an eye on was Zach Godley. Diamondbacks are trying to get him to stay on line to the plate a little bit more, not spin off the pitches, run away from the pitches, as they like to say.
And Zach, his previous start against the Mets last Friday at Chase Field looked like it was headed for disaster. The leadoff man reached against him in each of the first 4 innings. But he did a good job of settling in. Harrison hits a high fly ball along the right field line. That is drifting out of play.
As you can clearly see, not much room down the lines. Considerable amount between the bases in foul territory, but you can see down the right and left field line, you run out of foul territory quickly.
Just a couple of feet in the corners. 2-2 on the Pirate leadoff man. Zach against the Mets had 2 on, no outs in the second and third, no outs in the third. Homer walk started the 4th. And it looked like it would go off the rails time after time, but he wound up retiring 9 straight after that, and 10 of the last 11 he faced.
Yeah, that was the kind of start that your pitching coach or manager, when talking to the media after the game, will say he made big pitches when he needed to.
He sure did.
Yeah. May not have been on top of his game, may not have had his A stuff, but when he really needed to make a big pitch, he was able to do so.
Finished with 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. 3-2 to Harrison is on the ground to Nick Ahmed at shortstop. E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense tonight.
Gerard Dyson in center field, hopefully stealing some home runs here at PNC Park. He'll be flanked by David Peralta in left. John Jay over in right field. It'll be Descalso and Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Marte and Goldie on the right side. Alex Avila behind the dish for right-hander Zach Godley.
3 infielders on the first base side against the rookie Austin Meadows, who's having a terrific start to his career. 323 and 5 home runs. Meadows has been slowed down a bit lately by a sore right foot. He fouled the ball off the top of his foot Sunday against Cincinnati. Pirates in this series also without Corey Dickerson for a while. He was placed on the family medical emergency list, and so he won't be back until at least Saturday, possibly later. One and 2 on Meadows. Talking about that Mets start for Zach Godley, Torrey was saying, you know, the thing he learned and the thing he observed is that, you know, Godley's a tough guy out there. He is not going to give in. And when he did need to make those pitches time after time early in that ball game, he didn't back down. Hopefully a cleaner start here tonight. That one almost clipped him. It rolls into center.
And you may be asking yourself at home, well, what's the difference? Well, as a pitcher, you have to be totally committed and sure that this is the pitch I want to throw and I can execute it and I'm going to execute it, as opposed to throwing and hoping you get a good result. And Zach Godley, even when he has his back against the wall, is very determined and very committed that that next pitch is going to be the one to get him out of the jam.
They call him the Bull for a reason.
Yep.
Starling Marte, 289 homers. Meadows will run. He's got 3 stolen bases. That little squib shot stays fair for Zach. 2 outs. Meadows into second.
He'll take that every time. Quick swinging bunt up the first baseline by a dangerous hitter in Starling Marte. That's about as easy as out as you can possibly get right there. Didn't even need any defenders. Zach picked it up, made the out himself.
He and Polanco always tough on the D-backs. Here's the third baseman, cleanup man Colin Moran. 7 homers. He's batting .272. Nice block by Alex Avila. We talked about that in that Mets start. Diamondbacks do not win that ball game with the way Godley was early unless Avila's back there behind the plate.
He made 3 or 4. You can't call them blocks. They were saves. He was diving to his right over behind that left-handed batter's box, making plays on balls that probably should have gone to the backstop.
Should have got a Vezina trophy after that one. There's the shift against Colin Moran. Ketel Marte, the second baseman, back of the outfield grass. Colin Moran comes into tonight riding a 7-game hitting streak. He's been hot. He's homered twice during that stretch. Another little tapper. Avila picks it up. Very effective for Zach Godley there. Strands the 1-out single. D-backs lead it 3-0 in Pittsburgh. Over the Pirates. Yeah, see what I did there. World Cup action is back. 3 great games coming your way tomorrow. It kicks off as Neymar in Brazil. That's one of your clubs. Faces off with Costa Rica 4 a.m. on FS1. Then head over to Fox. A couple of big matchups start at 7. You can stream it all live on the Fox Sports app. What do you have for us today?
How about Iceland? Are you kidding me?
That's your team.
You know, kind of a underdog favorite going into this thing. They play Nigeria 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll be dialed into that one. I mean, Croatia beat Nigeria. And Croatia, you know, they're kind of a sleeper team as well. So I think Iceland has a real good chance of beating Nigeria and moving on.
Tell you what, you picked Iceland right from the beginning.
Popular favorite. Yeah.
You were all over that.
Croatia's had 2 clean sheets in their first 2 games. What?
Clean sheets, huh? Wow.
That's a shutout, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
we got a clean sheet going right here.
Yes, we do.
Shortstop Nick Ahmed.
Of course, this is more offense than you'll see in 3 football games.
It's not about the goals. It's about every trip down the field is a journey. It's the beautiful game, the ebb and the flow and the whole thing. You just want scores.
Put the biscuit in the basket. Let's go.
Put it there in the old onion bag. As Tommy Smith used to say. 1-1. Fastball misses in. 2 balls and a strike on Nick.
Although I left my bracket at home.
How are you going to cross out all your incorrect picks?
Do them in my head. I can't even remember who I started with. I jumped to Brazil. Now I'm on Mexico. So we'll see how it goes. I might be on Iceland, seeing how they play a big one tomorrow against Nigeria.
Or you might just jump off.
Yeah, I might. I've got one leg hanging off the bandwagon as we speak.
Don't think it's supposed to work that way. Ahmed belts one toward the left field corner, and that's off the base of the wall. Nick into second, standing up with his 13th double. He has really hit the ball hard this month, among the best, in fact, in the National League.
Just a little more elevation on that one. He probably sneaks it out of here down that left field line. As you mentioned, right down the left field line, you can get some cheapies. A little bit of a short fence. Yeah, just a little more lift on that ball. As it is, he bangs it off the bottom of the fence for a leadoff double.
You know, they keep track of how many balls every player hits that are classified as hard hit. For the month of June, Nick is 3rd in the National League.
How about that?
He's ahead of Goldie. Jarrod Dyson. That one almost sailed on Cervelli. Chad Kuhl, a little bit wild here to start this one. Guy who has pitched very well lately. The trails at 3-0. D-backs threatening more here to start the second.
Well, you mentioned he got an extra day because of the rain out last night, and some guys are funny about that. They like to stay on their regular schedule. They're used to doing certain things at certain times and eating certain meals before their start, and some guys don't like to have them push back.
Dyson ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Up the middle and into center. Ahmed had to break back toward the bag at second just to make sure that would get through. So a double and a single open up the D-back second.
The ball smoked up the middle. Nick had taken a peek over his shoulder. He knew Jordy Mercer was playing right behind him. Had to make sure that one got down in center field before advancing on to third base. Another hard hit ball.
Well, they are all over Chad Kuhl. And Kuhl in his last 5 starts has an ERA under 2.5. He has really pitched well lately. So this is very uncharacteristic for him.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Well, we'll see what Zach Godley can come up with here. He's got Ahmed at third base, Dyson at first, and nobody out.
I would guess sacrifice bunt just to move the runner from first to second base, but if it happens to be a perfect bunt and Nick gets a good read, it might turn into a safety squeeze.
You see Moran even with a bag at third. Bell holding Dyson on the base at first. Zach squares to bunt, pulls back, takes ball 1.
And the thing to remember, Nick does not have to run from third base unless he reads it and can score easily. Don't run into an out at home plate right here. And of course, the Pirates have to keep an eye on Jarrod Dyson over there at first base. This is a real handful for Chad Kuhl out there on the mound. Got pretty good speed on the bases, great speed at first base, and a guy attempting to bunt at the plate.
Dyson 12 for 15 in his stolen base attempts this year. There's a great shot of our ballpark here. Godley squares again. 94 coming in hot. That one brought Josh Bell all the way in from first. Zach squares up one more time. Gets the bunt down, but foul first base side. A lot of D-backs fans here. Saw a lot of Diamondback jerseys walking around the concourse. Ran into some folks from South Dakota.
Really?
Who are on a bus tour. They're going to 12 ballparks. Part of that is following the D-backs around.
Nice.
They were in Cleveland last night, and now they're here tonight for tonight and tomorrow's game to see their D-backs. Now it's 2-2.
I think that'd be great fun, traveling around with people with common interests, going from ballpark to ballpark, getting an opportunity to see a beautiful stadium like this here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this is one you need to plan a trip to. It is gorgeous.
And we talk about it every year. You can just walk across the Clemente Bridge right back over to downtown Pittsburgh. A lot of hotels and restaurants and what have you. And a beautiful ballpark right here on the banks of the river.
Squaring to bunt with 2 strikes. Zach gets it down. Nick will hold it third. Dyson moves along. That's the first out here in the second.
Nicely done there by Zach Godley. Laid off a couple of pitches early in the sequence, but ultimately gets the bunt down, setting it up for the top of the order.
Jay doubled and scored to lead off the ball game. Boy, the term productive doesn't even begin to cover it. As we mentioned at the top of the show, John Jay 15 hits and 10 runs scored in his previous 8 games. And he started this one off with a double and a run scored. Boy, he just loves to go the other way. That left center approach has really worked out. He's got some power to that side as well.
Especially on pitches up and out over the plate away from him, where he can really extend and drive that ball to left field. Other times he'll try to inside out an inside pitch. Those are the little floaters, the little loopers that get over the infield. But when he gets a pitch up and away, he drives it to left.
Breaking ball misses in. It's 1-1. This is the John Jay approach. You can see most of them going to left or left center.
Yeah, pretty good spread, though. I mean, a lot of them to left field, obviously, but you know, you make a mistake inside. We've seen him turn on balls too.
Fastball is up. 2 balls and 1 strike.
He's just a pest.
Well, it's been an absolute perfect fit.
At least I always felt like he was a pest when he was playing for the Cardinals or the Cubs, you know. Geez, here comes that John Jay guy again. Now he's on our side.
Fastball in. Boy, Chad Kuhl having trouble throwing strikes. Goldie walked his first time up tonight. 3-1 on John Jay. You're a base hit away from tacos right here.
Oh boy.
That one's belted to right field. That's going to go off the wall. Ahmed is home. Dyson right behind. John Jay is in there with his second double tonight. And it's 5-0 D-backs. Well, as you just said, it doesn't always have to be to left or left center.
Another really well struck ball off the bat of a Diamondbacks hitter. This time John Jay turns on a pitch. That slider appeared to be a slider working its way down and in, and he intercepts it, bangs it out there off that scoreboard in right field, plating 2.
That'll bring Ray Searage out to the mound, trying to figure out what is going on with his right-hander Chad Kuhl. D-backs all over him. A quick 5-0 lead, and Kuhl has only recorded 4 outs.
And one of those outs was a deep sacrifice fly, and another one was a sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, a lot of hard, loud contact. Good call. Well, it's only going to get worse. Here comes Goldie, and the bullpen will have to get busy for the Pirates. Stephen Brault, the left-hander, who sang the national anthem here the other day.
Did a great job, too. Pull that up if you get an opportunity at home. I'm sure it's on the MLB.com website. It's probably on the Pirates website. He was a music major in college. He can sing.
Well, this 1-2 combo, Jay and Goldie, has really worked out well lately, and we're seeing that again tonight. That one is through into right center. Tony Perez-Chico waving John Jay home. He will score. RBI for Goldie, and it's 6-zip D-backs.
Well, with runners in scoring position, you get the feeling Goldie can do this whenever he wants to. Pitch down in the zone, just stay inside the ball, lead with your hands, and hit a 99 hopper through that right side for an RBI base hit.
RBI number 40 on the year for Goldie. Still only one out in the second. Here's Peralta. Fastball fouled straight back. David reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first. D-backs with 3 in the first and 3 in the second. They lead at 6-0. This guy's got some real life on his fastball. He's got the 4-seam, mostly throws that hard 2-seam sinking fastball. Foul tip. Cervelli hangs on, and Chad Kuhl gets his second strikeout. Here's Descalso, the cleanup man in at third, drove in a run with a fly ball in the first. A scheduled rest day for Jake Lamb today. So Descalso, who DH'd twice in Los Angeles, is in at third today. Torrey comboing, as he likes to call it, the travel day yesterday with an off day today for Jake, who will be playing a whole bunch here. It's a long string of opposing right-hand pitchers, so Torrey wanted to make sure that Jake gets some downtime, even against all these righties. So why not make it today after the travel day yesterday? Get some extended rest.
And different guys use their time off in different ways. Sometimes you're nursing minor injuries. It gives you an opportunity to get in that training room and take care of business with your body. Other times guys need a little extra work in the cage with the hitting coach. It's not just 2 off days where you lay on a couch. He's working hard, so he's ready when he gets back in that lineup.
It's the kind of thing where you naturally plug Lamb in there against righties, and you look up and he's played 12-14 days in a row. You got to avoid that too. Kuhl got the call on that last fastball from Stu Sherwater. 1-2. Descalso rips it to first. Nice scoop by Bell. And that ends the inning. D-backs add 3 more. They lead the Pirates 6-0.
the Phoenix Suns select
Let me guess, DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, how about that?
Wow.
Sorry, guys, had to do that. I brought my own graphics department.
What gave it away?
I don't know. This just in from Brooklyn. It is official. The Phoenix Suns, their first overall pick, the first time ever #1 in the draft. It is DeAndre Ayton from the University of Arizona. You have a chance to digest some of his numbers. Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, Player of the Year, consensus All-American first team, and I think many people regarding him as one of those generational picks, certainly in the new breed of the NBA circa 2018.
Well, I know the big fear in listening to all the mock draft people was that maybe he's Greg Oden, maybe he's Sam Bowie. Everybody has that fear about the big man because it's blown up in some teams' faces before, but this young man seems to be beyond all of that.
I would think that. I'm not one of those that hides in that camp and hides in that corner, I should say. In fact, I think a lot of this conjecture was fascinating to me. I think it was a great school of thought under the guise of thinking too much.
Yeah, well, sure.
Felt like it. And,
well, you do 7,000 mock drafts, and eventually you can talk yourself in or out of anything.
Yeah, you're not kidding. And I've been around Phoenix for over 33 years now, and I certainly remember the stories of the first pick they had back in the day, or they could have had, when Jerry Colangelo lost the coin toss, for lack of a better word, when he called heads and it was tails, and Lou Alcindor went to the Milwaukee Bucks. The rest, as they say, is NBA history. But here we are in 2018, and DeAndre Ayton is on his way to Phoenix. And
a proud moment for you, because he's the first player from U of A ever taken #1 overall.
Yes, my alma mater. Of course, I was part of the program, Lute Olson's first staff, and I'm still scratching in my head why Sean Elliott didn't go #1. And I don't know where Purvis Ellison is right now, but I know where Sean Elliott is.
Cervelli strikes out. Now, talk about burying the lead.
Yeah. Oh, you're not going to go there.
Of course I am. Well, we're
okay.
So who won the Selke Trophy? I've been waiting all day.
Yesterday announced in Las Vegas at the NHL Awards. Thank you to the most defensive forward.
Right.
Anze Kopitar, the Los Angeles Kings.
Oh, I had him in my pool.
I did too.
Right there with Iceland. I always like to find out
Iceland?
who he may be. Who wins the Selke Trophy? It's always big. Josh Bell, the first baseman. That might be the worst name for a trophy ever.
You don't mind a Lady Bing?
No, it sort of has an air of royalty about it.
Okay.
Like I say, that guy's a Heisman winner. That guy's a Cy Young winner. That guy's a Selke Trophy winner. Huh?
Wow.
Just a thing. This is shallow center. They got this thing surrounded. Tyson comes in to collect it, 2 outs.
I know there is a massive party going back to the actual lead.
A Selke Trophy party? Wow. How do you get an invite to that?
I don't know.
Oh, don't badmouth the Selke Trophy. That's one way to get an invitation.
That's true.
Fair point.
I was communicating with the great Dan Marley last night, and I saw a couple of interesting stories out on social media today about the story that, well, he was booed when he was drafted. And Cotton Fitzsimmons, the late Cotton Fitzsimmons, stood up at the podium at the draft party in downtown and said, "You'll rue the day." But I don't think anybody was booing DeAndre Ayton in Phoenix moments ago.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Gregory Polanco, bases empty, 2 down.
I was on Doug and Wolf this morning back in the Valley, and they asked me about DeAndre Ayton. I said, absolutely, because if basketball's like every other sport, you have to pay travel money to get the guy to your home city. So bus fare from Tucson to Phoenix, they're going to save money right out of the chute.
Took a bus, did he?
Bus, yeah.
Well, believe it or not, I played with some guys in the minor leagues that played real fast and loose with those rules. They had mailing addresses over in Hawaii, even though they lived in Bakersfield. And they would get travel money from Phoenix to Hawaii at the end of the season every year, even though they lived in Bakersfield.
It's a scam.
Yeah. You don't make any money in the minor leagues. You've got to scam to be able to eat.
Can you do my expense report when we get done with this?
Good call.
Sure. Another work of fiction.
I like your style.
Being careful with Polanco here, who always crushes the D-backs. The shortstop Mercer on deck. I don't think Polanco is going to see a pitch to hit in the next 4 games. So what he's done to the D-backs, he's about a .350 career hitter against us. So he gets the 2-out walk. They'll work to Mercer.
And I have a feeling he's going to be pitched that same way throughout this series until he proves he can get to an inside fastball. He does a lot of things well, but usually it's when he gets the arms extended on a pitch middle away.
He's got those long arms.
Yeah.
Teams like to tie him up inside. But Mercer's been hot. 263, 4 homers. And he had a very good series earlier this month at Chase Field. 5 hits in 3 games, 3 doubles and a home run against the D-backs. Now the Suns, don't they have like 7 first-round picks? Well, they got a whole bunch.
They have one at 16.
Okay.
And 31.
Are we there yet?
No, no.
Yeah, so 16, 30, so that's 3.
31, is that a second round?
I know in the NBA, like after you pick 3rd, that's pretty much it.
Well, we were saying on the pregame show they should take a flyer on Patrick Corbin. Did you see the video that we had of him dunking the basketball?
He's a player, yeah. He and Taiwan are both excellent basketball players. Well, it's a great moment for U of A, too. That's cool.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's been a rough few months.
No, why? I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about, but
not sure what you're referring to.
I think he is going to carry the mantle of the players program and that program that Lute Olson established and onto Sean Miller in a great place and in high regard. He just seems like a, for lack of a better phrase, he's just a good kid. I'm always fascinated to hear him speak, and I think he's got it figured out.
So Jose Osuna on deck, ready to pinch hit for Cool if Mercer can reach.
Do you think there will be a spike in Suns attendance with people driving up from Tucson?
Why not?
Why not?
Be a spike in attendance anyway, just to see the combo they got going now. They got the big and the small. They just need some middles.
Yes.
2 strikeouts by Godley. D-backs lead the Pirates 6-0.
Take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. Former Ranger manager Jerry Narron becomes the 58th manager in Reds history after they fired then manager Dave Miley. Jerry Narron, he's managed a few ball clubs. He had the Rangers for a full season and part of another year. He had the Reds, as we said, in 05, picking up for Dave Miley. Managed a full season after that, and then a partial season the season after that.
Been a great addition here. Really stepped in when Gardy got sick last year, and he's just been too valuable to move along. They want him here in the dugout. He's done a terrific job.
I think it's outstanding to have a former manager there to help Torrey. Not that Torrey doesn't know what he's doing, but occasionally there's protocol situations. We saw it happen earlier this year with Dave Martinez in D.C.
Yeah.
Proper protocol for a pinch hitter and when you make your pitching changes, and it helps to have somebody who's done it before sitting right next to you.
Ketel Marte leads off the D-backs third, and he hits that over the glove of Harrison and into right. Marte, who homered in the first, has a single to lead off the third against Chad Kuhl.
Oh, that's a rarity. He doesn't hit many singles.
Yeah, let's give that, throw it back. Alex Avila struck out to win the first. Great start for the D-backs, already 6 runs on 7 hits. And Zach Godley has looked sharp. Pirates will put the shift on for Avila. Colin Moran slides over. Avila gets into one. This one is hit deep to right center field, and that ball is gone. Alex Avila, 8-0 Diamondbacks. They are hammering Chad Kuhl here in Pittsburgh.
And Clint Hurdle, we know he had a pinch hitter on deck for the pitcher, but the 8-hitter made the last out, so he sent Kuhl back out there one more time, and the Diamondbacks made him pay. 2 quick runs here in the 3rd inning. Alex Avila jumping on a first pitch fastball. Boy, is that good to see.
His 3rd of the year. And that will be it for Chad Kuhl. He only gets 6 outs. He gives up 8 runs. D-backs a big early lead here in Pittsburgh. ERA in his previous 5 starts was under 2.5. He's pounded here for 8 runs through 2+.
He's in a little bit of shock. I think everybody here in the ballpark is in shock with what the Diamondbacks have done against their right-hander early, and so Clint Hurdle goes to a lefty. Steven Brault out of the bullpen, making his 20th appearance.
He worked 2 scoreless innings Saturday here against Cincinnati. He's able to give Clint Hurdle some length. Brault has worked multiple innings 11 times in his 14 relief appearances. A lefty swing man. Nick Ahmed, the shortstop, doubled and scored to lead off the 2nd. D-backs 8 runs on 8 hits. Home runs from Marte in the 1st and Avila in the 3rd. Good for Alex. He really got a hold of one deep to right center field. That one sounded like a home run.
Yeah,
too.
it sure did. Got the barrel on that one.
There's the tapper in the hole. Moran in front of Mercer. High throw. Bell able to keep his foot on the bag, and that's the first out here in the 3rd.
Yeah, maybe it won't be a factor now with the Diamondbacks with a big lead early in this ball game, but Colin Moran and Chase Field looked a little slow down there at 3rd base. Might be a bunt target at some point in this 4-game series here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's a big dude down there at 6'4", 205, and he looks a little slow-footed. This guy is not slow-footed. Gerard Dyson hit a hard single and scored in the second. He and Ahmed came home on John Jay's 2-run double. Jay has doubled twice tonight. Good start here for the D-backs, who come in having won 8 of their last 12. 2 games ahead of LA for the NL West lead. Jay doubled and scored to lead off the ball game, and then doubled and scored in the second. He's also knocked in 2 runs. We might want to sign him to a lifetime contract. I have to talk to Mike Hazen about that. Mike is here, the GM. 3-1 on Dyson. Godley on deck.
I'm sure Gerard's agent appreciates your feelings.
Well, that was a pretty good pitch right there, but Stu Sherwater did not give Brault a call. So Dyson aboard for the second time tonight. Here's Godley. Zach squares to bunt, pops it foul. This is how things have gone for Pittsburgh lately. Back in the middle of May, the Pirates were a season high 9 over 500. Since then, they've lost 20 of their last 30. Moran well in from third, swing and bunt. He was standing right there. Nice scoop by Bell at first. So Dyson is in at second base. 2 outs for Jay. He has doubled twice, scored twice, knocked in 2 runs. Tapper back to Brault. But the D-backs add 2 more. Alex Avila's 3rd home run this year makes it 8-0.
Photo or video with hashtag Hats Off for Heroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Alex Avila's third home run this year. Tacks on 2 more. It's 8-0 D-backs as we start the bottom of the third. And the reliever Stephen Brault, who came in for Chad Kuhl, will lead off the Pirate third. Kuhl is out of the ball game before his spot in the batting order came up. That's a rough night for any starting pitcher. I saw you trying to signal your nemesis, the Pirate Parrot. You guys, I hesitate to even bring this up because I know it's a touchy subject. You and the Pirate Parrot have a bit of a history.
I'm okay with him. He's all right. Over the years, you know, he comes out with that cannon, and he used to shoot hot dogs. Now he shoots T-shirts up in the stands, and his last shot every day, he used to try to shoot one up here to the press box, which you would need a howitzer to get one up this high, but he would always try to shoot one, and he actually shot one completely over the roof of the stadium one time. So wow. I know we're within his range, but he didn't work his way down to home plate today, so didn't have an opportunity to catch one.
This was the Pirate Parrot with his cannon. To Hopper to Nick Ahmed at shortstop. As the Philly Fanatic learned the other day, you got to be careful with those things.
Yeah, shot some fan in the face with a hot dog wrapped up with duct tape or something, and apparently gave her a black eye, but she took it all in good stride. Good sport about it.
Well, they're tough in Philly.
She could be the new owner of the Phillies if she wanted.
That's right. All the hot dogs have to be named after me from now on, whatever they agree to.
How about Lucy dog?
That Godley, the first time through the order. 1 walk, 1 single. That was by Meadows. He has struck out 2. It's looked very good so far.
He really has, commanding that fastball out of the middle of the plate. He's only thrown a couple of knuckle curves in the early going. Hasn't really needed it.
He really leaned on that curveball against the Mets last week. 13 outs on the curveball, including 6 of his 8 strikeouts versus New York. Mixing things up a little bit more here today. And no falling off the mound, at least not to the dramatic level that we've seen before. That's out of play.
Now, something that's so ingrained in a pitcher, it's tough to change at this level, but it certainly looks like Zach Godley is trying to make some changes in his delivery to try to stay on that pitch a little bit longer.
This is hit hard to Peralta in left field. 2 down. And Zach has been working with Mike Butcher on not running off the side of the mound with that delivery, running away from the pitch or falling off. Sometimes even before he releases the ball, he's kind of falling over. That makes him yank it or let it go a little too early. He's looked good so far. 40 pitches, 24 strikes.
I think the big word that Mike Butcher likes to use is repeatable. You want to have a delivery that you can repeat over and over and over, and that'll make your pitches be more consistently where you want to throw them, instead of that occasional mistake that strays right over the heart of the plate because you're spinning off the pitch too soon.
It's almost impossible to believe that doesn't somehow hurt his command. Flying off the side of the mound like that. Ahead of Meadows 0-2. Stu Sherwater behind the plate tonight. There's Mike Butcher, the pitching coach.
Well, Mike Butcher, such an upbeat, positive guy. A perfect personality for a pitching coach, because as you can imagine, it would be very easy to get negative or get down, especially if a couple of your pitchers aren't doing what they're expected to do. But he always seems to be in a good mood, always seems to be happy to be working with the guys, and they seem to respond extremely well to him.
Just don't criticize his music selection. I learned that. He plays some of that soft rock on the bus sometimes. I got on him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't me.
Yacht rock.
Exactly right. Swing and a miss. Zach Godley's retired 4 in a row. Through 3. D-backs have an 8-0 lead. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about. That was Pirates pitcher Stephen Brault on the mound right now, singing the national anthem earlier this week.
Also known as the lead singer of Street Gypsies in San Diego.
As far as we can tell, the only major league player ever to come out of Regis University, which is in Denver. Of course, a school named after Regis Philbin. Goldie leads off the fourth. High hop for Mercer at shortstop.
It was funny as Stephen Brault was singing the anthem that day. I happened to be watching that, and all of his teammates were lined up in front of the first base dugout, and all of them were looking at him behind home plate rather than saluting the flag.
It's a big moment.
Yeah,
he certainly
it was.
got the yank of a rocker.
Yeah, he does.
A lot going on there. Peralta 0 for 2. He scored a run.
It's like the battle of the bands. We just left Anaheim, where Scott Radinsky, the bullpen coach, was a lead singer for a punk band. And now we come here and Stephen Brault singing the anthem, and he's a lead singer for a band.
Wonder if there are any Miami Marlins involved. I'll have to check that out. We go there on Monday.
I think that's a job for Todd.
It's a long list. He's got a lot of responsibilities.
Busiest man in baseball. And hockey. And the World Cup. And music reviews.
2-2. Well, he comes here all the time, you know. Coyotes, Penguins.
Sure. France won today, by the way. Just wanted to know.
Are you French?
You missed the big reveal the other day, huh? You didn't hear what happened on the pregame show?
I'm afraid to ask, frankly.
Well, I did the 23andMe.
What is that?
Like a DNA testing thing?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
okay.
did. And Fox had requested if we would partake, and I did. And I always knew my father's origin. My mother has always been a bit of a mystery. She used to say, "I'm part French." Nobody believed her. And when I got my results back, I was shocked to find out that I think I'm 21%
You
French.
tested positive for French?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, a little French Canadian too. And so I have decided.
Ah, Québécois.
Yeah, thank you. C'est vrai.
Oui, oui.
And I'm done.
Who knew?
Chevrolet Coupé.
Yeah. But I actually watched their match today. I'm sort of engaged now. Sort of like you, Bob.
Mm-hmm. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
The World Cup is great, man.
It's intense. And I
mean, you know, and it's not down there at 4 a.m. watching Saudi Arabia and Uruguay, but there's a lot to watch.
No, that's not happening yet. But even with the time change, I was up and a little late for breakfast. Wanted to see them complete their 1-0 victory. They move on.
Did you have a French breakfast?
2 eggs, does that count? Fromage?
I'm not sure. Who knew?
I didn't.
Now you do.
Yeah.
Well, you were with us a couple of years ago when we went to Toronto.
Yeah.
It's about as close as we can get you.
As the crow flies right around the corner from my house in Rochester. Yes.
2-2 on Descalso, batting cleanup tonight. I miss the Quebec Nordiques.
We all do, don't we?
The Stastnys and Guy Lafleur, and they had cool uniforms.
I can tell you that the boys on the bus on the NHL circuit miss traveling to Quebec, that's for sure. No disrespect to Denver, by the way.
Denver's lovely. Well, he walked Peralta. Now it's full on Descalso, 3-2. David holds it first. Daniel fouls that one away.
Yeah, an 8-0 lead in the 4th inning. Most managers are going to shut down their running game, at least until the other team gets on the board, and then all bets are off.
Back-to-back one-out walks. Here comes Ketel Marte.
Boy, and lately that spelled trouble for opposing pitchers, including his first at bat in the ball game today. Chad Kuhl misses down low with a sinker. Ketel has a couple of good rips at the sinker right there, so he goes to a knuckle curve, and oh my goodness, that ball's way out of here to right field.
His 6th of the year, a 2-run shot. Avila added a 2-run shot in the 3rd. Our nationwide vision eye on the game. Marte has homered, singled, scored twice. He's knocked in 2. Puts this one in the air along the right field line. Polanco gives chase but runs out of room.
You know, as a young player at the major league level, you learn a lot of things from the veteran guys, and I'd never heard the phrase scaring a pitcher off of a pitch until I got to the big leagues and played with Darrell Evans and Reggie Smith and Joe Morgan and some of those guys. And you know, they'd go up to the plate and take a vicious rip at a fastball and foul it straight back right on it, and then blast the next pitch out of the ballpark, and they'd come back to the dugout and say, I scared him off of his fastball. And I had never heard that before, but Ketel Marte's first at bat looked a little bit like he scared Chad Kuhl off his fastball to throw that knuckle curve, and Marte hit it out of here.
2 down for Alex Avila, who belted one deep to right center his last time up, his 3rd home run this year. That was the last batter that Chad Kuhl faced tonight. Two on and 2 out. David Peralta's at second. Daniel Descalso at first.
And sometimes it's not the pitcher you're scaring off of that pitch. It's the catcher that's afraid to call it again after seeing a vicious swing at a pitch in the middle of the strike zone. The catcher will go to something else.
Don't call that again.
Yeah.
Listen to the sound that the ball makes coming off of Avila's bat here in the 3rd. Just solid.
Unfortunately, most of the solid contact that Alex Avila has made has been hard ground balls and line drives at the second baseman. They play that exaggerated shift most teams do and put that second baseman out in shallow right field, and unfortunately he's hit the ball right at him a lot.
See if he gets something to hit here on 2-0. Well, Peralta's been a little erratic. He has walked 3 of the 8 batters he's faced so far. Now he's behind on Avila 3-0. Nick Ahmed on deck. Fastball's a strike, 3-1. Now Cervelli wants a word.
That goes without saying. Part of your job as a catcher with a runner at second base, as you're giving multiple signs, is to keep an eye on the runner at second and try to notice if he does anything different with his leadoff from one pitch to the next. You know, you call for a curveball and David Peralta crosses his legs as he's taking his lead off second base. You call for a fastball and he doesn't cross his legs as he takes his lead. There's a lot of different ways a runner can relay to the hitter what pitch might be coming.
Full count, 3-2. Runners on the move. That's ball 4. The bases are loaded for Nick Ahmed. Third walk in the inning and the 4th of the ball game for Brault. This is not what Clint Hurdle had in mind.
Well, right now I'm not so sure Brault can throw 3 strikes before he throws 4 balls.
I agree.
Has a lot of movement on that sinking fastball and just can't keep it in the strike zone.
Nick has doubled and grounded out. Peralta's at third. Descalso at second. Avila at first. Bases full and 2 down. He's walked 4 of the 9 batters he's faced so far. Missed with a fastball away. Nick belted a double off the wall in left his first time up. He grounded out against Brault. In the third, that was the first batter that Brault faced in the ball game, on in relief of Chad Kuhl. Well, he is all over the map here. He's walked 3 of the last 4 to load him up. Now behind on Ahmed 2-0. Nick, a guy that hits lefties pretty well, being very selective here. Brault on the verge of walking 4 batters in this inning. Right down Main Street, 3-1. Nick skies it to short left. Meadows coming in. Well, Brault walked 3 in the inning and lived to tell about it. It's still 8-0 D-backs. The Pirates 8-0. Fans, the 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open and exclusively online, so make sure your favorite D-backs are there. Vote at dbacks.com/vote and catch all the action from the 89th MLB All-Star Game, presented by MasterCard, July 17th, live on Fox. Starling Marte leads off the Pirate 4th against Zach Godley, who holds an 8-0 lead. Marte grounded out his first time up. He homered here Tuesday, and the Pirates lost to the Brewers. They were rained out last night. Marte had a big series against the D-backs earlier this month at Chase Field. 5 hits in 3 games, including 3 doubles and a home run. He's always a problem. Zach so far has walked 1. He struck out 3, given up only 1 hit. That was Austin Meadows' single in the first. Colin Moran on deck.
I think I pulled a hamstring, partner.
It's a long run.
Yes, it is. And everybody on press row, as soon as that third out is made, it's like the Indy 500 out there in the hallway trying to run down to the men's room all the way at the end of the press box.
Yeah, there's a walk to Marte. Those old Grand Prix races where the riders would all stand and they fire the gun, and you have to run and get in your car and start it off. That's what it's like trying to use the facilities here between innings.
That's what it looks like.
Bob Brenly is now on the clock.
Bunch of old men that can't run trying to run.
Moran grounded out his first time. Sometimes the men's room is right behind the booth. Other times it's a long run down the hallway. Milwaukee's like that.
Yep.
And here in Pittsburgh, it's not close. Godley 50 pitches, 28 strikes. Double play ball perhaps, but with the shift on, there's no one over there. And they have to settle for 1. Boy, any other inning that would have easily been 2 outs.
Yeah, nothing you could do about that. 3 guys on the right side of second base, unfortunately hit right to Nick. And just not enough time for anybody to get to the bag. Not enough time for Nick to race to the bag and try to beat the runner. Did the right thing. Make sure you get an out.
Here is Francisco Cervelli, the catcher who struck out his first time up. Is got a little Dean Martin walk-up music. It's nice to see some old school guys like that. I know Todd Frazier uses Sinatra as his walk-up music, and Cervelli uses Dino. We just need somebody to be Sammy and Peter Lawford, and
there
we
you
can
go.
Get the Rat Pack back together. A rare Peter Lawford reference makes its way into the broadcast.
That's a good pull.
That one gets behind Avila, and Marte goes into third. Zach kind of yanked that one a bit.
Yeah, it hit off the glove of Alex Avila. Very rare to see him just miss a pitch, but that looks like that's what happened right there. Maybe a little more movement on that cutter than he expected. Yeah, that's a play we've seen him make a million times. That'll be a pass ball on Alex Avila.
Marte at third, 1 out. 1-1 on the Pirates catcher Francisco Cervelli. Cervelli having a productive year. He's got 9 homers. That's already a career high for him.
That's almost the same pitch he laid off of on the pitch before that. Hard curveball that starts on the inside part of the plate, works its way toward the outside corner and down. Cervelli able to lay off the one before, couldn't lay off that time.
Zach against the Mets his last start. Most of his outs, most of his strikeouts coming on that curveball.
See another one right here.
2-2. Knocks that into right field. Marte is home with the first Pirate run. Just the second hit for Pittsburgh against Zach Godley.
Well, unfortunately, that curveball stayed up over the heart of the plate, and Cervelli able to guide it to that right side for the first run of the game for the Pirates.
First baseman is Josh Bell. Flying out to center his first time up. Bell's another guy that had a productive series against the D-backs back in Phoenix. 4 hits, including 3 doubles. And rather uncharacteristically, he also walked 3 times in that series. He's been a bit of a free swinger, but they're trying to get that under control. Punches one foul, and it's 0-2. Wild swing at that one, and Godley gets his 4th strikeout.
Buries that curveball down and into Josh Bell. He likes the ball down and in. That one just got a little bit lower than he can handle that time. Bounces into Alex Avila behind the plate for strike 3.
Now, last time up, Gregory Polanco got nothing to hit.
And we speculated that perhaps the Diamondbacks were really going to crowd Polanco inside in this series. Zach Godley was trying to crowd him inside. Unfortunately, a little too far inside throughout that first at bat.
Polanco 5 hits in his last 3 games. He homered here on Father's Day Sunday, his first home run since May 12th. It had been more than a month. Coming inside again. 0-2.
I think that's a good plan of attack against Polanco until he shows you he can get to that fastball inside, especially up at the hands and up.
Well, they have tried moving him back off the plate a little bit. Big lanky guy, so he can maybe extend those arms. Bullpen is busy. Richard Rodriguez for the Pirates.
Cervelli's going to talk to you whether you want to hear it or not as you get a look at Gregory Polanco's hot and cold zones, pretty much middle of the plate and down.
2 of those long arms. He can get to that pitch up and away a little bit. Good pitch by Godley. 5 strikeouts. Pirates get on the board for the D-backs, hold an 8-1 lead. Pirates 8-1. Fans, July 4, only 2 weeks away. You can celebrate Independence Day with us at Chase Field. D-backs and Cardinals, 7 o'clock game. Fans will enjoy the best fireworks show in town, presented by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. Get your tickets at dbacks.com for our big annual fireworks spectacular.
Yeah, not only is it spectacular, but it's a lengthy fireworks show. It's going to last a lot longer than any other show in the Valley on the 4th.
Great seat for it. Open up the roof. Well, Stephen Brault, who has walked 4 of the 10 batters he's faced on in relief of Chad Kuhl, faces Gerard Dyson to start the 5th. Dyson has singled, walked, and scored a run. D-backs with 8 runs on 8 hits if you're just joining us. 3 in the first. Jay doubled to lead it off. Descalso had a sac fly RBI. Marte a 2-run homer. And then 3 more in the second. 2-run double by John Jay. RBI single by Goldie. Alex Avila in the third, a 2-run homer, his 3rd of the year. It's always nice when you come into the first game of a series and sort of, in a sense, establish dominance, knowing you're going to face these guys 3 more times.
And for me, the big plus, like I always say, first game of a series, the deeper you can get into that other team's bullpen, the better off I like it. Get a look at everybody down there, maybe even force the other team to make a roster move, getting into the bullpen as early as they did today in the 3rd inning.
Brault gets his first strikeout as Dyson goes down swinging.
Brault's one of those guys, when he's in and around the strike zone, he has a lot of movement on his pitches, has really good stuff. He just hasn't been able to consistently find the zone so far tonight.
Zach Godley. Nice play by Brault to go up and get that one. 2 down. Here comes John Jay.
As you mentioned just a moment ago, John Jay with a couple of doubles in the game. In the first inning, he goes to the opposite field and hops one over the fence out there for a book rule double. Then in the second inning, he really worked a good at bat, had a good rip at a first pitch fastball, takes that slider off the plate in, up high with a fastball, pushes him off the plate, and then lights up a slider down into the right field corner on a Nationwide Vision. Eye on the game. Good grinding at bat. Got the pitch he was looking for and did not miss it.
That after Ahmed had doubled and Dyson had singled to lead off that inning. And then Jay came home on a Goldie RBI single, made it 6-0. Now 8-1 here in the 5th. So Jay is now hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games, and 7 of those have been multi-hit games. Brault in relief, already at 50 pitches. He has walked 4, struck out 1. He's yet to give up a base hit. John Jay, he just has a knack for that too.
You could almost feel that one coming with Brault spraying it around the way he has been, missing on that side of the plate, arm side quite a bit. And we know John Jay is perfectly willing to take one in the wallet and head on down to first base and set it up for Goldie.
Goldie has walked. He's got an RBI single. He's grounded out. To Sherwater gives Brault the fastball off the plate. Pirates have 3 defenders on the third base side of the infield.
Boy, it seems like a lifetime ago the Diamondbacks were struggling to put up crooked numbers at the end of the day. Now they're doing it multiple innings.
3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. Is popped up. Mercer calling for it from shortstop. Bottom 5 from PNC Park. D-backs lead the Pirates 8-1.
My starts in the rehab have been pretty successful, except for one, and you know, from there I've last start really turned things around. So looking forward to going out there Monday, competing, pitching at the big league level again, competing for my teammates, competing for you know, everything it's worth, and I'm just really excited to be back.
And there you have it as we bring you back to PNC Park here in Pittsburgh. The return of Shelby Miller. He's here. He's in uniform, Stephen Bob. And, of course, the big news of the day, the official announcement. He'll be pitching on Monday in Miami against the Marlins.
It is really welcome news. Here's Ahmed as Mercer grounds out to start the Pittsburgh 5th inning. He's worked really hard.
Yep. And, Bob, you were kind enough to come on D-Backs Live, the pregame show, to talk about just the daunting challenge that it is physically and mentally to come back from Tommy John. And I talked to Mike Hazen, the general manager. He is here just about how Shelby went about his business. He said he dominated his rehab, and he wasn't talking about just those rehab starts, just the everyday grind of trying to make it back.
And Shelby gave credit to the training staff and Nate Shaw and his guys in the weight room. I mean, for me, and I've seen a lot of guys come back from Tommy John surgery, there has to constantly be a goal, a reason to show up again and go through these mind-numbing workouts with no real reward until months and months down the road. So you have to constantly set shorter goals, and Shelby checked them all off with ease.
Steve, there will be a pitch count on Monday that Torey Lovullo will be keeping an eye on. He wouldn't divulge that today, but maybe we'll discover that before first pitch.
There's Adam Frazier hitting for the pitcher Brault. Yeah, You know, he's going to get about 7 or 8 days since his last rehab start. He'll throw some aggressive bullpens in between, but they really picked their spot with Shelby. And it's more so about the timeline than the opponent. People might think, oh, well, have him pitch against the Marlins. They're no good. But it's really more about the calendar than anything else.
There's no doubt. He ran by me on his way out. He's in the dugout tonight, and this is the first road trip I've been on in a year. He's no longer out on that island, Bob, as he referred to. And if I could, Steve, we talked about Matt Cook, too, on the pregame show and his contributions.
This is chop, tough play for Descalso on the short hop. And they get Frazier, who can run a little bit at first. Nicely done there. Daniel Descalso in at third tonight.
And if I could wrap that up, Matt Cook back to Reno. Obviously, the Troy Lavelle saying about him, look, we want to see a little bit of separation in velocity from breaking ball to the fastball. But Bob, you allowed me to take the trip down the wormhole to 2001 to the stopgap that you had in Robert Ellis, who won 6 games in Miguel Batista's absence, and you won that division by 2, if memory serves. He needed all of them.
I needed every bit of it. Yeah, as we mentioned in the pregame show, his first 6 starts, he went at least 6 innings every time out. And in those first 6 starts, only one of them you would consider less than great. He was really good in 5 of the 6.
And Matt did a terrific job here. Won 5 games for Torey Lovullo, and when things were really dire, when they didn't have Shelby and they lost Robbie Ray, they needed help, and Matt Cook really stepped up, and good chance he'll be back this year.
And the story of Clay Buchholz. It's kind of a multi-layered thing. And to Matt Cook's credit, he's one of the reasons I like talking to him, is in Anaheim the other night after he pitched, after we spoke to Torey Lovullo and went to his locker, Matt got called in, came back out. His disposition did not change. He's a pro. He is a mature adult pitcher in the major leagues. I think we'll see him again soon.
Yeah, he's a solid dude. Harrison hits into the shift. Marte cleans it up. 3 ground ball outs for Godley, who was through 5 in Pittsburgh, holding an 8-1 lead. Fans, if you can't watch the D-backs games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the free app. Take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. This is where the 3 rivers, as you like to say, confluence.
Yeah, the confluence. So that's where they confluence.
The Monongahela, the Allegheny, and the Ohio. New pitcher for the Pirates just off the DL Monday. Been down with a right shoulder problem. Richard Rodriguez, the right-hander.
D-backs are going to get another look at a relief pitcher out of that Pirates bullpen here in game 1 of a 4-game set. As I've said many times, that can only work to their advantage as we move forward in this series. Adam Frazier stays in the ball game and takes over at second base,
replacing Josh Harrison. So Rodriguez will bat first in the Pirate lineup. Peralta leads off the D-backs 6th inning. Rodriguez has made 3 consecutive scoreless appearances. And he's pitched pretty well here at home. A 2.19 ERA, 13 games at PNC Park.
"33 strikeouts in 22 2/3 innings.
Boy, David was ready for that. Tried to come in again, and Peralta knocks it into right. He's aboard for the 3rd time tonight.
It's good to see for David to bounce back that way. He struck out back in the 2nd inning and had some Gumby shoulders walking back to the dugout, really dragging his bat. Looked like he was really frustrated with that particular at bat, but let it go. He drew a walk in the 4th and now a base hit here in the 6th.
The cleanup man, Daniel Descalso. It's always nice when you can give Jake Lamb the night off and score 8 runs in the first 3 innings. Daniel had an RBI in the 1st.
You know, and in a roundabout way, that's good for Jake too, because if you're not starting in the ball game and your team loses, you always feel like, geez, if I'd have been in there, I could have done something. And now Jake can just kind of sit back, put his feet up, and enjoy the off day.
And eat some fruit salad. Do you catch the new Wednesday Wisdom with Jake Lamb on the social media?
I missed that.
They have a new segment that the D-backs have been tweeting out. Wednesday Wisdom with Jake Lamb, where he sort of breaks down little things that come up in life. This is hit to center field. Marte drifting over there.
And fruit was the topic.
Well, it's the way that a fruit salad is put together. If there's too much emphasis on one of the fruits, it really takes away from the whole dish.
Oh yeah, you got to balance your fruits.
Yeah, so Jake gets into all that stuff.
I mean, if you put too many apples, it becomes an apple salad. Too many bananas, it becomes banana salad. You got to have the right mix.
It's a little bit like the Larry David, where there weren't enough pecans in there with the mixed nuts.
There never are.
Ketel Marte is homered and single, scored twice. Well, he and Archie go to breakfast. The roommates go to breakfast all the time, and oftentimes they're served fruit salad, and it's just usually not up to Jake's high standards. The problem in his analysis is that when you make a fruit salad, it can't be like 80% honeydew, and that seems to be a recurrent theme. You gotta have cantaloupe in there. You gotta have strawberry. You gotta have some pineapple, maybe some bananas. Can't just be a whole bowl of honeydew. I think he raises a good point.
I think he's right on the money. Yeah, that's not a fruit salad.
Just a little bowl full of honeydew. This is the kind of stuff that comes up on the road. But you can check that out on the D-backs Twitter feed. It's pretty funny, actually. He breaks it down very scientifically. It's not just some random rant. They save those for us up here. Jake getting a scheduled day off today. Marte hits one deep to right center. That's hanging up there for Marte. The Marte to Marte flyout. Peralta back to the bag at first. Here's Avila, who homered in the 3rd.
Now, you'd think it was funny, the conversations that take place on the road trip, the things that come up that for no reason are suddenly important. I was thinking when I used to work for the Cubs and travel with the Cubs, Pat Hughes usually had the room next to mine on the road.
The great Cubs radio man.
Sure. And we would check into the room, and you know, everybody's waiting on their luggage for the bellman to bring it up to the room, and I would hear from next door.
I'm afraid to ask.
Well, I'll tell you next inning.
All right, stand by for that. Bottom 6 in Pittsburgh. It's all D-backs. Egg one in the 6th inning. Fans, mark your calendars. This year's 20th anniversary celebration, August 4, the annual alumni game presented by our friends at Sanderson Ford. Will start at 2 o'clock, followed by the D-backs and the Giants regular season game. And the first 20,000 fans with us get the all-time team t-shirt, courtesy of Gila River Hotels and Casinos. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/alumni. That's always a big day. This year coming up August 4th, 2 o'clock for the alumni game.
Yeah, the alumni game, always a big deal. I think it's going to be even bigger this year since it's the 20th anniversary. A lot of guys planning to come back. Looking forward to that.
Austin Meadows leads off the Pittsburgh 6th against Zach Godley, who has given up so far just 1 run on 2 hits. He has been terrific tonight. He's walked 2, he struck out 5. So what was going on with Pat Hughes?
Well, okay, we check into the room and I would suddenly hear the sound of duct tape tearing. And anybody that's ever used duct tape, it's a very distinctive sound when you pull the tape off the roll. That one dunked into right field for a base hit. And then ripping the duct tape. Well, he turns out he was taping his curtain shut so no extra light could come into the room.
What is he, developing film?
Well, I don't know what he's doing in there, but you know, we've all been in rooms where the light just streams in from the building next door,
yeah,
the lights
sure.
on the hotel or whatever, and you know, Pat just took duct tape on every trip and made sure to seal that window shut. And I found that besides that, it's all the LED lights in the room.
Oh,
you know, the little
flashers.
greens and the little, you know, over here's a green one, over there's a green one, and you know, enough of them in the room, suddenly you feel like you're in some kind of a horror show or something. The room has this eerie green glow, so just a little piece of duct tape covers those dots. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate that.
So now you're traveling.
Yeah.
With duct tape.
Duct tape and an extension cord.
Oh, you got to have that.
Yeah.
It's 2018. We need to move the plugs closer to the bed. Got some work to do.
Uh-oh.
This is crushed to deep center field. That's off the base of the wall for Dyson. They're going to wave Meadows all the way around. The throw is offline, and it's 8-2. Well, Starling Marte, just about a .340 career hitter against the D-backs, is at it again as a single and a double start the Pittsburgh 6th.
Yeah, fortunately hits this out there near the deepest part of the ballpark. He really smoked that ball. Hits at the base of the fence out there in deep left center field in front of the bullpens. Dyson got it back into Nick Ahmed in pretty good shape. Nick's throw unfortunately tails up that third base line. They may have had a play on Austin Meadows at the plate.
So make it an 8-2 ball game. No outs in the 6th inning. Here's Colin Moran 0 for 2. Moran riding a 7-game hitting streak coming into tonight. Three infielders on the first base side.
Probably not worth the risk for the Pirates and Starling Marte to attempt to steal third base. He's already in scoring position, and they still trail by 6 runs in this game, but the Diamondbacks are giving him all the room he needs to steal third.
Descalso trying to keep an eye on him over there. That's fouled away. And Godley's ahead 0-2. Colin Moran, a much more dangerous hitter here at PNC Park than he is on the road. Batting average jumps up by about 120 points at home versus away from here. Would you consider this a hitter's park or a pitcher's park?
I think it's a line drive hitter's park. The gaps are huge. You can get doubles and triples if you can find those gaps in right center and left center. But if you're a dead pull hitter, either a righty or a lefty, there's some short fences to shoot at in right and left field. So I would have to classify it as a hitter's ballpark.
Yeah, it's a lot of outfield room, especially out there in left center. Zach Godley looking for his 3rd consecutive win. Came into tonight following victories over the Rockies and the Mets.
Well, that double by Marte, his 800th career hit.
He'll have a few more by the time he's done.
Yes, he will. I like that, just to speed up the process a little bit. Zach shook his head no to whatever the pitch they had called before Moran called timeout.
Long set of signs with Marte at second. Here's the 0-2.
It might have been a straight changeup, a rare straight changeup for Zach Godley, just off the outside corner and down. Moran couldn't lay off.
This is a guy who was a pretty well-regarded prospect, Colin Moran. There's the pitch count on Godley. Moran drafted 6th overall in the 2013 draft out of North Carolina Chapel Hill. Fastball is low, fell off the mound a bit there, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, you'd have to say it's been a huge improvement so far tonight for Zach Godley as far as his delivery and falling off to the first base side. Only a couple of times have we seen him really spin off that mound to the first base side.
Even Torey Lovello thought, maybe at one point getting Zach online and trying to stay online through the entire delivery is something that might not even be possible, because that seems like it's just the way that Godley's body wants to go. But he's been a whole lot better about it here tonight. That one kicks off Avila. He can find it. Marte in at third. It rolled over there near the Pirate dugout.
That had to hit somebody's shin guard for it to ricochet away as hard as it did right there. Breaking ball in the dirt. Yeah, it hit the umpire's shin guard and rocketed over into that third base on deck circle.
Yeah, Alex started looking behind him, and then there's that moment where you can't find it, knowing there's a runner headed into third base. 2-2 on Moran. He's had a good at bat right here.
But for Starling Marte, not only his 800th career base hit, his 300th RBI. That double that drove home Austin Meadows.
He's at third, still nobody out. A run is home. Long battle here. 9th pitch of the at-bat. Zach Godley and Colin Moran. This is driven deep to center field. Dyson at the track. He's at the wall. And he's got it right in front of the 399 mark. Marte comes home easily, and it's 8-3. That was a very impressive at bat by Colin Moran. Five pitches now for Godley. 2 runs in, 1 out. Cervelli had an RBI single his last time up.
Now, you mentioned the low fence out there in left field, but from right center around to the right field foul pole, it's a little bit taller. Dyson's going to have to really get up to steal a home run in this ballpark.
They do that Spider-Man routine. It's a very interesting configuration. Short fence in left, that deep notch in left center that goes 410, then the high fence in straightaway center 399, then the really high 21-foot high fence in right. That was a nice touch when they built this ballpark. There's the bullpens. 410 in that corner there. And then there's the taller fence, 399 in straightaway center. And then that fence right there, 21 feet high, in honor of the late great Roberto Clemente, who wore the number 21. That was a strike. Cervelli didn't love the call. He's always barking about something, but that was right there, 1-2. He's a chatty fella.
He is. I mentioned it at Chase Field. He will always find a way to draw the attention to himself. Usually by swinging the bat and calling a good game behind the plate, but sometimes just by other things. You got to give it up for him, that RBI single back in that 4th inning. He knew exactly what he was looking for. He knew where the hole was in the defense. Just kind of guided one through that right side for a base hit.
Pitch number 90 from Zach Godley. They're starting to spray it around there. There's still no one warming up in the D-back bullpen as Godley tries to get through 6. He's worked it full on Cervelli, 3-2. That's his 3rd base on balls. And 3 of the first 4 have reached in the Pittsburgh 6th.
I see some bodies moving around out there behind the left center field fence. Mike Butcher on his way out to the mound to talk to Zach Godley and stall for a little bit of time, as somebody's going to get warming out there.
He was very much under control through 5 innings. In fact, he retired the final 5 he faced going into this inning. But he's been a bit more erratic here in the 6th. 91 pitches, 56 strikes. He has walked 3 and struck out 5. Fernando Salas will start to loosen up down there. Bullpen coach Mike Fetters. Josh Bell, the first baseman. Bell 0 for 2. Don't want to make a mistake here. Bell's a switch hitter. All 4 of his homers coming from the left-hand side. It's a guy who belted 26 home runs last year. There's a tapper. Goldie will take it himself. Cervelli moves up, 2 down.
Boy, Josh Bell's had all kind of trouble with that Zach Godley curveball tonight, swinging through a couple of them back in the 4th inning when he punched out, and tapping that one easily to the right side for a 3 unassisted.
2 down for Polanco, who has walked and struck out. Boy, it'd be nice to retire this guy. All the damage he's done against the D-backs in his career. Big, tall, lanky hitter, 6'5", 235 pounds. That fastball is there at the knees. 0-1. Pirates really barking it's too sure water, but these are all strikes. That needle's getting a little low. 95 pitches.
Yeah, very comfortable here at the ballpark tonight, at least up here in the press box. I know it was hot and humid down on the field earlier today. Zach really working hard out there, up to 95 pitches in the ball game.
Right back to Godley's glove. That one may have caught him. A terrific play. Gets out of the 6th inning, but the Pirates add 2. D-backs lead is 8-3. Boys and girls clubs of Metro Phoenix offers summer day camp programs at all 13 locations to give youth and teens an adventurous, active, and healthy summer. These programs operate 5 days a week, fans. They enrich kids with academic success, healthy choices, and fun experiences. For more information, contact the nearest club or go online. Visit www.bgcmp.org. 7th inning at PNC Park. Sean Rodriguez is checked into the ball game, takes over at shortstop for Jordy Mercer. Nick Ahmed leads off the 7th. There's Sean Rodriguez. Richard Rodriguez on the mound for the Pirates, no relation.
Yeah, Zach Godley's spot due up 3rd in this inning for the Diamondbacks.
Nick doubled and scored in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 3 today.
It looks like Chris Owings will be the guy to take the at bat for Zach Godley in that 3rd spot.
Well, it's not just the return of Shelby Miller that has folks speculating about rotation spots. Shelby will be back Monday in Miami. His first D-back start following Tommy John surgery. And Robbie Ray on that same day will make another rehab appearance with Reno. So Robbie's getting close as well. Ahmed lifts this to center for Marte. Gerard Dyson has single walk, scored a run, 1 for 2 tonight. Rockies have already won. They beat the Mets 6-4 at Coors Field. Freeland the winner, Mets the loser. Giants in action later tonight. They host the Padres. That's Tyson Ross against Mad Bum. Broken bat right by Rodriguez. The other Rodriguez is there. Makes a nice bare hand play and a backhand scoop by Bell at first.
Well, it wasn't the first ball of the inning, but that new guy's always going to get one hit to him at some point, and Sean Rodriguez really made a nice play right there.
And the man bun stayed tied up too.
A little bit of a rat tail hanging out of the man bun. He's got it all going on.
Chris Owings. Well, they are the Pirates after all.
Arr.
That's kind of a pirate look. CO will hit for Godley. Chris batting 190. He's got 3 homers.
Somebody get that. Boy, what a difference it makes for a starting pitcher where your team puts 3 on the board in the first, 3 more in the second, 2 in the third. I mean, this is one of the best outings we've seen from Zach Godley in a while as far as maintaining his composure, maintaining his command of his pitches. It wasn't really until that last inning where we saw him start to show some signs of fatigue.
Yeah, every time the Pirates even suggested they might get something going, Zach was able to get the big outs he needed. Meadows had the 1-out single in the first. He got the next 2 guys. Polanco had a 2-out walk in the second. He struck out Mercer. Cervelli's RBI single in the fourth. He followed up by striking out Bell and Polanco. And he got himself out of that 6th. So job well done for Zach tonight.
Absolutely.
Godley, 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, 2 were earned. On 4 hits, he walked 3, struck out 5.
Zach Godley also put down a perfect sacrifice bunt in this game. He's now tied among the starting pitchers with Zach Greinke with 3.
That was a scud. Borrow a phrase from Mike Krukow, 3-2. D-backs about hit the Pirates 9-4. They lead at 8-3. Takes a funny hop for Frazier at second. We stretch at PNC Park. D-backs have an 8-3 lead. Really solid tonight, hopefully on his way to his 3rd straight win.
There are Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing cool plays of the game. Pretty much Zach Godley all night long, especially early on. He was really sharp with everything. That Pirates chasing that curveball in the dirt, just dotting the corners with his fastball. Tremendous outing by Zach Godley.
6 innings, only 4 hits allowed, gave up 3 runs, 2 earned, and threw 96 pitches. Fernando Salas is on to work the bottom of the 7th with an 8-3 lead. Sean Rodriguez, who took over at shortstop for Jordy Mercer, leads it off for Pittsburgh. Rodriguez's bat has kind of fallen off the cliff a bit. He's at 159 on the year and stuck in a 2 for 28 skid.
And 0 for 5 as a pinch hitter this year. That was kind of his main role in the past with the Pirates. A spot starter here or there, but a weapon off the bench. And he's been a good one over the last few years, but really struggling this year.
Oh, floater for Nick Ahmed. Here's Adam Frazier, took over at second base for Josh Harrison. Frazier 235 and 3 homers, recalled for the minor leagues yesterday when the Pirates put Corey Dickerson on the family medical emergency list. We may or may not see Dickerson in this series. Won't see him until at least Saturday anyway. There's a strike. Shoots this out to left. Peralta. Two outs on 5 pitches. Here's the pitcher's spot. And Jose Osuna will hit for Rodriguez. Osuna 233. He's homered twice. He's been up and down from AAA 3 different times already this year. Reappeared from Indianapolis on Monday. Bullpen busy once again for the Pirates. Michael Feliz. There is action in the Diamondback bullpen. Salas looking very sharp, 0-2. Popped up first base side for Goldie. Very impressive 1, 2, 3, 7, 3 outs on 8 pitches for Fernando Salas. 8-3 D-backs. D-backs have an 8-3 lead over the Pirates. Fans catch the D-backs in Giants series at Chase Field coming up next weekend with a D-backs value pack. That gets you a game ticket, a hot dog, and a Pepsi, all for only $25. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/value. 8th inning here at PNC Park. D-backs took the early lead, and they're running through the Pirate bullpen now. Here's the right-hander Michael Feliz, who worked a scoreless 8th inning on Sunday against the Reds.
He had a pretty good run from the beginning of the season until the 20th of May. Posted an ERA of 0.90 in that time period. However, he's been scored upon in 7 of his last 9 outings.
D-backs tonight, if you're just joining us, got 3 runs in the first inning. Jay led it off with a double. Goldie walked. Descalso an RBI sac fly. Ketel Marte a 2-run homer. They had a 3-0 lead early. And then in the second inning, it started off with an Ahmed double, a Dyson single. John Jay hit another double. This one scored 2. And then he came home in a Goldie RBI single. And after 2 innings, it was 6-zip D-backs. And then in the third, Marte singled to start that inning. Alex Avila homered. A 2-run shot, his 3rd of the year. Just like that, 8-zip D-backs. It's now 8-3. And the home run by Avila was the last batter faced by tonight's Pirate starter Chad Kuhl. And since he came out in the 3rd, the D-backs have only 1 base hit. And now Jay leads off the 8th. And he gets into one, belts it to center, but right at Marte.
Hey fans, today after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
Goldie has walked. He's got an RBI single tonight, 1 for 3. Goldie's RBI is 40th of the year in game 74. Pirates have the shift on. 3 infielders on the 3rd base side. There's his strike, 0-1. Paul has now hit safely in 15 of his last 16 games. And his batting average over that stretch is about .460. Stay hot. 0-2. The opener of a 4-game series here at PNC Park. Another night game tomorrow, then day games Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow night, Patrick Corbin against Ivan Nova. Greinke goes on Saturday, Buchholz Sunday. And Shelby Miller Monday in Miami. In the air, right center field. Polanco's got it.
Well, in a 4-game series, there's always a possibility of some hijinks. You know, you face the same team 4 days in a row, especially after what we saw transpire back at Chase Field against these Pirates last week. Hopefully you get through these 4 games without any kind of incidents, without any kind of injuries.
And we know about the stuff that's taken place against the Pirates before. That's always a danger. Shelby Miller, as Todd told us earlier, starts Monday at Marlins Park in Miami. So Matt Cook, after his start the other night in LA, went to AAA Reno. So they're carrying an extra relief pitcher here. Jake Barrett is with us. Frazier at second. Feliz comes on a 1-2-3-8. It's 8-3 D-backs. opener of this 4-game visit to PNC Park. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Game 2 of the 4-game set tomorrow night. Patrick Corbin on the mound against Pirate right-hander Ivan Nova. It's a 7:05 start here, 4:05 back home for you. And then 1 o'clock starts Arizona time, Saturday and Sunday. Jorge De La Rosa, the left-hander, on to work the bottom of the 8th. Austin Meadows, Starling Marte, Colin Moran due up for the Pirates, 2, 3, and 4. Meadows has singled twice and scored a run tonight. He's 2 for 3. It's a good-looking young player.
Jorge De La Rosa not using his usual red glove out there on the mound. Now he's going to be like Archie Bradley. We're going to have to try to guess which glove he's going to use on a given night.
Well, Jorge's had a couple of rocky outings lately, so maybe trying to turn his luck around. Certainly a more subdued look for him.
Hey, you may have noticed on that glove that Jorge De La Rosa is wearing tonight, there's a little pocket on the index finger of the glove. You can see it right there. Now Jorge doesn't use it. He kind of slides his fingers over, puts 2 in the little finger hole and then 1 in each of the next 2, and doesn't use the index finger hole, but that pocket is there for a reason.
Meadows has got his 3rd hit tonight.
Occasionally a pitcher, in an effort to get a different grip on the ball, that index finger will come off the back of the glove. So in order to combat that, some of the glove manufacturers now put a pocket on the back of that index finger so you can stick your finger in there and the batter can't determine anything by the movement of your index finger.
Starling Marte has walked. He's got an RBI double. He scored twice tonight. Pirates with only 5 hits tonight. They trail at 8-3. De La Rosa jumps ahead 0-2. Marte already with 4 doubles against the D-backs this season. Doubled 3 times at Chase Field earlier this month. Doubled in his last at bat here tonight. That one sailed on Jorge. 1-2. Austin Meadows, 3 singles tonight. Ketel Marte, pretty, spins and throws, and they can't turn 2. Marte runs well.
That's the only thing that kept that from being a double play, is the fact that Marte can really scoot down that line. Let's take a look at Jorge De La Rosa and how he approaches Marte. Little splitter at the top of the zone for a strike, a cutter at the top of the zone for a foul ball. He missed badly with that fastball high and away, but comes right back with another splitter. Gets the desired result, the ground ball, but as we said, Marte just outran the relay throw to first.
That was a pretty turn by Ketel Marte at second. The cleanup man, Colin Moran, knocked in a run with a fly ball his last time up. D-backs will put 3 infielders on the right-hand side against him. We were talking earlier about things that come up on the road, things you see, things you notice, things you may pick up along our travels here. I saw something in our clubhouse today that I went, whoa, what is that? Big double take. So I had to go in and check it out.
And
want to know on Moran. Well, I was just standing there waiting to talk to Torey Lavello, and I looked inside the visiting clubhouse manager's office, and he had a collection of bobblehead dolls. in his office, some really great older ones, not some of the newer ones. And I said, wait a minute, that looks like Bob Brenly. And sure enough, it was an old BB bobblehead. Now, that's a great looking bobblehead.
How about that? Still has the plastic around the neck.
Well, he doesn't want it to bobble too much, but that looks just like you.
Oh.
Got some fake dirt on your hat. Look at that. Now that's a sharp looking bobblehead right there.
Yeah, Kevin Conrad, the visiting clubhouse attendant here in Pittsburgh, has a collection of those. I was kind of surprised to see myself amongst the collection.
So I took that photo that I took right there, and that is now your photo on my phone. So whenever you text me, that pops up. I think that's a really good bobblehead. How many of those you got in the garage?
I have to start counting. I don't know.
I wonder why a manager would get his uniform and hat all dirty like that.
It was probably right after I got ejected.
Kicked it across the infield.
Lou Piniella was the master of that. Not only would he throw his hat down in the dirt at home plate, then he would kick it all the way back to the dugout after he'd been ejected. Yeah, Lou went through as many hats as the players did.
Sometimes he'd throw bases whenever he could get his hands on. 2-2. Moran just slaps one the other way, opposite the shift. He's had some good at-bats today. 2 on and 1 out. Here comes Cervelli. So Colin Moran now with an 8-game hitting streak. They'll figure out what they want to do with Cervelli, who's got an RBI single and a base on balls. Here comes Mike Butcher. It's kind of been like this the last few appearances, Bob, for Jorge De La Rosa. He's having trouble getting guys out. And especially in some of these situations like this, you're just looking for three quick outs. Let's move on. But the other team starts to make some noise.
And occasionally he's been hit hard, giving up some loud contact, and other times like tonight they just find gaps in the defense. That time Moran went away from the pull shift. Only one defender on that left side of the infield. He shot it through into left for a base hit. And as a matter of fact, if you go back to that 4th inning, Moran hit a ground ball to Nick Ahmed at shortstop, and because of the pull shift they weren't able to turn the double play, and that leadoff walk by Starling Marte in the 4th ended up coming around to score on the Cervelli base hit.
So here he is, 2 on, 1 out. Cervelli waving at friends in the stands. I think we had some flash bulbs going off in center field, actually. This is low, 1-0. Bullpen is busy for the D-backs. 2 on, 1 out. Fastball's in. Come on, man, that's a strike. Every time somebody calls a strike against Cervelli, it looks like somebody just shot his dog.
He should be in the NBA.
I mean, come on, man, that's right there. Kept it down, a ball and 2 strikes. Yoshi Hirano in the D-back bullpen. Didn't miss by much.
And that's where you want to miss if you're going to miss. You're looking for that ground ball right here, possibly to get a double play, get out of this inning. You're going to miss down.
You wonder if Cervelli's barking may have earned him that ball call right there from Stu Shearwater. That was right at the knees. It's 2-2. There's a method to the madness. Belts that one up the middle. Look at Ketel Marte, and they turn the double play. Just sensational. Ketel Marte up the middle. And we'll hit the ninth at PNC Park. 8-3 D-backs. Stop like that, they couldn't quite turn the double play. That time they were able to get Jorge De La Rosa out of the 8th inning. Look at this.
Oh man, nice play. Looked like a base hit up the middle of the field. Instead, Ketel Marte with a backhanded play shoveled onto Nick Ahmed, and with Cervelli running down the first base line, they turned that into an easy double play.
It was terrific. Marte due up second here in the 9th inning. Descalso, Marte, Avila due up. D-backs have an 8-3 lead as we start the 9th. Feliz out there for his second inning of work. Descalso has an RBI sac fly. He's walked 0 for 2 tonight, and they're at third base. D-backs have one base hit since Avila's homer in the 3rd. That was Peralta's single to start the 6th. Now Brault was wild when he came on for Chad Kuhl. He walked 4. But the offense has been pretty quiet since they got that big lead. Descalso grounds out, 1 down.
Perhaps over preparing against Mr. Chad Kuhl and not preparing enough against the guys they were going to see out of the bullpen. But for whatever reason, they really jumped the starter in this ball game today.
Well, Chad Kuhl lasted only 2 innings, gave up 8 runs, all earned on 8 hits, including 2 homers. And he was gone from the ball game before his spot in the batting order came up. Here's strike 1 to Marte. Marte has homered single tonight. He scored twice, knocked in 2.
Ten D-backs have gone down in a row in this ball game. All the way back to that David Peralta single leading off the 6th inning.
That was against Rodriguez. He retired the next 6 he faced. Feliz has set down all 4 up against him. Now it's 2-1 on Ketel Marte. Alex Avila on deck. I guess with an 8-0 lead, you probably hit cruise control for a while.
You think back to yesterday's game in Anaheim, or 2 days ago rather, seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
A bullpen game for Anaheim. Felix Pena went 4, only gave up 2 hits, and then the rest of the bullpen that night only gave up another hit the rest of the way. Sometimes you get into that bullpen and you're not quite sure what you're going to get. You're not as well versed in those relief pitchers as you are in the starter.
Meadows near the line. Torrey said that really threw them off a bit in that game Tuesday in LA. By the time they locked onto Felix Pena, it was just one different reliever after another, and they never did quite catch up.
Which is the direction a lot of people around baseball think we're headed anyway. One time through the lineup and get them out of there.
I don't know how you manage that on a daily basis. It's fine in theory, but over 162 games, guys need rest and stuff. Have to work all that out. Backhanded by Rodriguez at shortstop. Wild throw, and it's behind Bell in the seats. And Marte will get second base. E6.
Boy, Josh Bell is a big dude over there at first base. You've got to throw it really wide or really high to get it past him, and Rodriguez was able to do that.
Yeah, that's a big target there, Josh Bell. 6'4", 235. Here's Avila, who has homered and walked tonight. A long home run to right center in the third, his third of the year. I think Ketel Marte noticed Gerard Dyson's shoes the other night. And he has countered with some of his own. Remember those bright red ones that Dyson had on?
Yep.
You can spot those from way up here. D-backs with 9 hits. They've out hit the Pirates 9-6. Fastball misses away. 2 balls and 1 strike on the D-back catcher. Nick Ahmed on deck. Pirates, as they do for every Thursday home game, wearing a military appreciation jersey. They've got some green and some camo in there in the shirt and the cap. I have a feeling if you were a pitcher, you would like throwing to Francisco Cervelli. He's a very good pitch framer. Always has been, but he gives pretty good pep talks out there.
Yeah. Very animated.
Kind of get the feeling he's got your back. Remember, for years he was it seemed like at best a backup catcher with the Yankees, but he's really found a home here in Pittsburgh. Avila hits it to left center field, and Meadows won't get that one. Marte will score the 9th D-back run. Alex Avila, who had a 2-run homer in the third, has an RBI double in the 9th.
Boy, is that good to see. That goes without saying. Alex Avila's barreled up a couple balls in this game, really let that one get deep before pulling the trigger, and splits the gap out there in left center for an RBI double. Nicely done.
The track record is too long and too solid for that to continue. Eventually it's got to turn for him.
And it appears he's being a little more aggressive tonight. He's been very passive at the plate. He's taken a lot of walks, but this is what the Diamondbacks want to see. If they make a mistake in that strike zone, put a good swing on and hit it hard somewhere.
All 1 to Nick Ahmed. Nick doubled and scored in the second, 1 for 4. Up the middle. Frazier has it at second base. Avila in at third, 2 outs. That one almost hit Gary Cederstrom, the second base umpire. Here's Dyson, who has singled, walked, and scored tonight.
4 right-handers starting for the Pirates in this 4-game series. I will predict that Gerard Dyson's going to go deep at least once.
Wow, I like when you make bold predictions like that.
I think those right field bleachers out there are just too tempting, too inviting.
And that one's foul. You see Jake Barrett starting to warm up in the D-back bullpen. Just up from Reno, taking the roster spot of Matt Cook. Well, he hit the ball real hard for that single in the 2nd inning, barreled it up. And we saw Dyson crush one earlier this year at Philadelphia, where the right field seats are sort of about the same configuration. Fastball in, 2-1.
Yeah, that was one of Alex Avila's home run, came in that same game in Philadelphia. Alex hit a long home run to right center, and then Gerard Dyson came up and hit one even farther to straightaway right field.
Back to back. 2-2. Pitcher spot is up next. Jake Lamb is in the on deck circle. Not in the starting lineup tonight, a scheduled rest day. I know you don't like me to use that term, but it's either off day, rest day, you take your pick. Non-starting day.
There you go. I always had to sell it to the guys that you were taking out of the lineup, and I used to always tell them, man, you're not having the day off. You're just the secret weapon. At some point today, the right situation is going to come up, and you will get in this game. And then you just spend the whole game hoping it comes up.
Just good managing.
I know I've told the story many times in the past about Steve Finley and how tough it was to give him a day off, but we always tried to give him a day off against the Dodgers. Fortunately, they had some left-handed starters at that time, but he had tremendous numbers against Paul Quantrill out of the Dodgers bullpen. So we would just wait for Jim Tracy to bring in Paul Quantrill, and then we'd drop Steve Finley in there, and he'd hit a line drive somewhere, drive in a run. The secret weapon.
Well, Dyson's spraying it all over the field here against Feliz. Still 2-2. That was just off the strike zone, but called strike 3. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. It's 9-3 D-backs. Against the Pirates, our Gila River Hotels and Casinos game summary. D-backs all over Pittsburgh starter Chad Kuhl tonight, who gave up 8 runs all earned in 2 innings. We've had home runs tonight from Ketel Marte, Alex Avila. Avila's knocked in 3. All D-backs here. Zach Godley was outstanding. Devin Marrero takes over for Daniel Descalso at 3rd as Josh Bell leads off the Pirate 9th. Leave De La Rosa out there. That flips Bell around, the switch hitter. All of his home runs this year have come as a left-hand batter. Barrett continues warming up at the D-back bullpen. And you've got the left-hand hitting Gregory Polanco on deck. And Jorge down 2-0. D-backs live post-game show follows our ball game. Todd Walsh will have reaction from inside the clubhouse, player interviews. Probably a DeAndre Ayton reference or two in there somewhere. Bell punches one to right, a leadoff single. That's the third hit against Jorge De La Rosa.
Well, they all count, but a lot of the hits so far against De La Rosa have come to the opposite field. Guys either beating the shift or just staying on pitches away and hitting him to the opposite field.
Polanco now 0 for 2 with a walk. Trouble in Yankee Stadium tonight.
There's trouble in Yankee Stadium every night, but go ahead.
Fair point. Well, the Mariners, I think it's the Mariners are there, right?
Yeah.
Well, they made a rule. You know, Ichiro is like, what is he? He's like special consultant, assistant coach, GM, something. Well, he pulled a Bobby V tonight in the Yankee dugout.
Oh, yeah?
He's not supposed to be in the dugout because of he's technically not a player and he's not a coach. He's got some weird job. So he was in there with a hoodie on, fake mustache and glasses. And an AP photographer spotted him, took a picture, and now it's blowing up the internet.
Boy.
So that's trouble. That's funny. He looks just like Bobby Valentine. One of Bobby V's greatest ever moves. That was tremendous.
I'm reminded of Ichiro every time Yoshi Hirano comes into the ball game. He finishes his 8 warm-up pitches and goes to the back of the mound and does the same kind of stretching exercises that Ichiro used to do out in right field.
Yeah, they look painful. Away from the shift, and they turned it into a double play.
6-5-3 if you're scoring at home. Devin Marrero, the third baseman, was on the second base side of the bag out there.
Second double play ball turned behind Jorge De La Rosa tonight. And Sean Rodriguez is the last hope for the Pirates. Dodgers are off tonight. They are traveling to New York where they open up a series at Citi Field against the Mets tomorrow. So the D-backs will take a 2.5 game lead over LA atop the NL West. Alex Wood and Zach Wheeler tomorrow in New York. Patrick Corbin and Ivan Nova here in Pittsburgh tomorrow night. D-backs live pregame show at 3:30 in the afternoon back in the great state of Arizona. Then day games Saturday and Sunday.
The Diamondbacks saw Zach Wheeler in that 5-3 loss at Chase Field. He was outstanding. 6 innings of 3-hit ball in that game.
Sure looked good. The Mets were in Colorado today. Rockies beat them 6-4. Giants and Padres about to get started in San Francisco. That's Tyson Ross and Madison Bumgarner. Boy, Arenado's heating up. He's starting to go nuts again for Colorado. He homered and drove in 5 today. They won 6-4 over the Mets. Full count, 3-2. Two-out walk, and here's the second baseman, Frazier. Torey Lovullo's got Jake Barrett ready in the bullpen. De La Rosa now over 30 pitches, and he's going to make the move right here. We'll take a break. Back from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. A two-out walk to Sean Rodriguez brings on Jake Barrett. Jake is back with us, recalled from AAA Reno yesterday, taking the roster spot of Matt Cook, his 4th appearance of the year for the D-backs. He's been terrific at Reno, where he's appeared in 21 games. Jake with the Aces is 3-0 with a 1.40 ERA. A lot of strikeouts. Adam Frazier, the Pirates' second baseman, is the hitter.
And not that he needs it, but you'd like to think this is a nice soft landing for Jake Barrett here. 2 outs in the 9th.
Yeah, the D-backs able to carry the extra relief pitcher until Shelby Miller makes his debut Monday in Miami. So that'll be a nice luxury for Torey Lovullo in its 4-game visit here. And tonight didn't have to use Archie, didn't have to use Yoshi or Brad Boxberger, although Hirano was getting hot earlier in the ballgame. Oh, 2. With Jake Barrett with the Reno Aces, 36 strikeouts in 25 2/3 innings. They've got some really good bullpen arms down there with Jake Barrett, Jimmy Sherfy, Silvino Bracho.
Just lost a handle on a changeup right there. That's good to see from Jake Barrett, though. I think that's going to be an important pitch for him moving forward. It's not going to be one of his go-to pitches, but occasionally he's going to need a changeup against tough left-handed hitters.
That changeup would just sort of fade down and away from the lefty. On the ground to shortstop, under the glove of a diving Nick Ahmed. Rodriguez heads to third. Base hit for Frazier.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been enough to pull the Diamondbacks out of their exaggerated shifts, but maybe give a step or two back to a straight up position. We've seen the Pirates all night long trying to shoot the ball to the opposite field against those exaggerated pull shifts.
Here's the pitcher's spot for the Pirates, the leadoff spot. The backup catcher now, Elias Diaz. 301 and 5 homers. This guy's had a productive bat this year. 2 on and 2 out.
And watch that first pitch. We saw this guy at Chase Field. He likes to let it fly.
Frazier takes second uncontested. There's a ball. Are you going to stop at D. Giovanni's, whatever it is there on the way home?
I don't think so tonight.
No, wow.
I had a big, large pie last night right after we got in, so I think I'm good for another 24 hours or so.
For Mandy Brothers?
And maybe tomorrow for lunch.
I knocked one of those out of the park today. That's good.
That's an entire meal in a bun.
It is. You get the roast beef sandwich with the fries and coleslaw on the bread, like all in one, stacked up in one. That's a Pittsburgh tradition for Manty Brothers. 2-0 on Elias Diaz. 2 on and 2 out. That took a funny hop. It's in front of home plate. Alex couldn't find it there.
Oh, that was a weird looking play. I wasn't sure if that was a foul tip.
Well, they
just got in the dirt. I'm not sure what happened there.
He checked with Eric Cooper at first base. Now Stu Sherwater's explaining what happened exactly. Let's see.
That might have been a cross up the way Alex Avila went after it. The ball shot straight up in the air after hitting him in the foot.
He did not swing at it, so it's a 3-0 count on Elias Diaz. You got Meadows, who's already got 3 hits tonight, on deck. And now Stu Sherwater explaining to Torey Lovello in the dugout exactly what the call was. You saw the check swing. Eric Cooper at first base said no, we did not offer.
I think he's calling that a mound meeting, a mound visit.
Yeah, because if you get together and have the discussion, although if you cover home as a pitcher on a wild pitch, you're supposed to have that not count. But maybe they were close enough to the mound where it counted as 1. Here's Meadows. He singled 3 times tonight. Three and 1 on Elias Diaz. Ooh, he got a fastball. Right there at 96. It's full 3 and 2. Now Brad Boxberger going to have to start to get loose just in case. Rodriguez at third, Frazier at second. Got him. Jake Barrett closes it out, and the D-backs take the opener of this 4-game series here in Pittsburgh, 9-3. A couple of doubles by John Jay, a whole lot of offense. They led it 8-0 after 3, and they win it 9-3.
Good first game here in a 4-game set. Some explanations going out there at second base. Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief, talking to Nick Ahmed, probably saying, boy, you guys hit the ball well tonight.
Well, the D-backs get to 8 over 500 on the year. They knocked Chad Kuhl out of there early. And the D-backs have now won 9 of their last 13. And they improved to 18 and 17 on the road this year. A whole lot more from Pittsburgh is coming up next. It's D-backs Live, the post-game show, brought to you by CenturyLink. Don Walsh will have reaction from Torey Lovello and some of the players. After this 9-3 D-backs win. Much more from PNC Park in Pittsburgh right after this.